Check, check. Preemptively, I'm only taking questions from Jose Young. Sorry to the rest of you guys. It's nothing personal. I just really like that fucking guy.
We do our best. So, Andre, I have to ask, obviously, they played the package before your fight, everything that was going on in your life leading up to this. They did a little bit, yeah.
No way.
You obviously touched upon it in your post-fight interview. So, where does this rank in terms of your career? I know it's obviously not the biggest name, but just everything leading into this and the outcome that it produced.
Yeah, I said from the beginning of this fight camp that this is my UFC debut, and that's how it felt. Everything about it was perfect. I was early on the fight card. It felt like my debut, you know? Everything just felt like my debut. I was so calm and so in the moment, so present, and I had so much fun. And that's how it felt when I was 19, fighting for $500 at an Indian reservation. That's how it felt when I was fighting smoker fights in some gym with the windows blacked out. That's how it felt when I was fighting behind my high school when I was 15. Like, I love fighting. I'm a born fighter, and I got back to who I am today. And I could talk a lot, but I'm actually at a loss for words. I don't have the words to explain how immensely grateful I am for this moment right now.
And when we spoke earlier this week, you used phrases like "when I win," like you were pretty confident. Like there was really no losing was not an option for you in there. So I guess was there a moment in camp that just kind of clicked and like I'm not going to lose this fight?
No, it's just a choice. Everything is a choice. Some choices are harder than others, but everything is a choice. And 6 hours ago, I was sitting with my. 6 hours ago, I mean, most people aren't going to say this, but 6 hours ago, I was sitting with my team. We did our shakeout, and I literally looked at my coach and said, I've got two voices in my head, and one is telling me that I'm not good enough, and I've tricked everyone into thinking that I'm a good fighter for the last 10 years, and somehow I've stumbled my way through the UFC. And the other voice is like the exact opposite. The other voice tells me how good I am, how hard I hit, how much fun I have when I fight, how good I am at this, and that I'm the best in the world. When I'm in my zone, I'm the best in the world. And it's just a choice which voice you listen to, and that was something that I just talked about that 6 hours ago. Every single person, unless you're a fucking, I don't know, a serial killer, like every single person before you get in that cage has a voice in their head that says maybe you're not good enough, and you just got to make the choice to not listen to that. I literally think about turning the volume down on that and turning the volume all the way up on the voice that tells me how good I am, and that's the truth.
That combo that dropped him, it was obviously very loud, like physically when you.
That's what people keep saying. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. I didn't hear it there, but everybody keeps saying the right hand was loud.
It sounded like a bat hitting a piece of wood.
I'm Samoan, bro. Just because I'm not as big as I'm not as big as Tafa or Tuivasa or Tyson Pedro. I'm Samoan, all right, and I can fucking crack. So. Shout out to the Usos.
We also saw you run at the fence and then kind of stop because we've seen you hop up. So what was going on there?
Oh, they made it very clear that in Vegas, if you hop on that fence, you're getting fined. And I just thought about all the money I just made that I can't fucking wait to spend on Harley-Davidson motorcycles. And I went to run up to the cage, and I saw, it was literally a stop sign. Like I saw a red logo, and it was like a stop sign, and I just went, no.
Is that a new rule? Because we haven't heard that much.
Dude, the thing about fighting is it's fucking chaos. So every state you fight in, the commission has 8 different rules and they change them and whatever. NSAC is always great. CSAC is usually great as well, but every state is different. So you can do something that's completely fine. When I fought in Sacramento, I jumped over the cage, hugged the Wounded Vets program guys, celebrated in the crowd. Got pulled back in the cage, and the first thing CSAC said to me was "We're fining you," right away. So I've done it. I've seen me do it. So I just pumped the brakes. Maybe it's a sign that I'm older and a little wiser.
How much was the fine?
Okay, so all these guys got their panties in a bunch, and when I got back to my locker room, the head of the athletic commission came in and said, "Listen, he's a great guy, Andy Foster, I believe. Shout out to Andy Foster, man." Fucking hero. Andy Foster said, "Listen, kid, I'm not going to take your money, but don't do that shit again." And I said, "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you."
broadcast before this fight even started said the winner of this fight is going to set themselves up for like a big 2024.
Yeah.
So I guess what do you want your 2024 to look like?
I want all the things. I want all the fights. I want all the smoke. I want all the Harley Davidson motorcycles. I want all the parties in my backyard with people I love. And I want to make my people proud, man. Like, the older I get, and I'm not old, dude. I'm fucking 33. I've already had 10 years in this sport. You know, September was my 10-year anniversary in the UFC. The older I get, the more I realize, like, I only really give a shit about like 5 or 6 things, and I really, really care about those things, and everything else I just don't give a shit about. So as long as I get to win fights and take care of my people, I'm good, man. 2024 is going to be a good year. More wins, more gratitude.
The plunge is bananas, by the way.
It's good. It's so good. Yeah, sorry guys, we're gonna take at least a couple minutes here. The plunge is fucking good. James Tinian is the only reason I care about horror comics. I'm sorry, no, it's Joe Hill. It's Joe Hill. Nice House on the Lake. You got to read Nice House on the Lake by Tinian. The plunge is good. I actually think Basket Full of Heads is better. Like, and the thing that's so impressive, if Joe Hill ever hears this, he's Stephen King's son. And instead of being Joe King, he writes as Joe Hill, and then just fucking crushes it, and doesn't like all he has to do is go, yeah, I'm Stephen King's son, and then he's just set. But he doesn't do that. And I mean, I don't really have a dad, but you got to respect a guy who's got a dad like that, and doesn't lean on it. Just kidding, Pops, love you. I got a dad. We're cool now. We've become cool in the last like 2 years.
Yeah, halfway through, I'm not quite sure where this is going to.
No one knows.
Andre over here.
Yeah.
I'm not quite Jose Youngs, but I have a couple questions. If
You do all right. I'm just kidding, dude.
After that performance and you mentioning that this is your debut, is this the start of a new and rejuvenated era of Andre Fili?
Yeah, this is my debut, and this is legitimately. I haven't felt this good. This is not hyperbolic. I haven't felt this good in the cage during the fight since I was 19 years old fighting at Red Hawk Casino in Northern California. This is the best I've ever felt, where I'm dancing, having fun. Everything he throws is in slow motion. Everything I throw can't miss. Like, I'm him. And when I'm in that zone, like, it's a reminder to myself, like, damn, I can fight, you know? And I'm excited to just keep doing this.
Yeah, you definitely look like him out there. So now that you successfully went through your modern day debut, I mean, what pathway do you want to take this time around if it was up to you?
I can't call the exact next shot. You know, I'd like to get on that March card. Cheeto's fighting O'Malley, and I got a lot of love for my boy Cheeto, and it'd be cool to be on that card. Man, I don't know the exact next move because I just got out of a cage fight, so everything's still kind of a blur. But I know that everything moving forward is going to look like it did tonight. I'm going to practice gratitude. I'm going to practice enjoying the moment, being present, and not taking any of this for granted, man. I wouldn't trade this for anything. I love this life.
And when you mentioned there the money you make, and you kind of brought up Harley Davidson motorcycles a lot,
Yeah.
Where does that passion stem from?
My grandpa, he passed away about 10 years ago, but my grandpa rode motorcycles, you know, and plus they're fucking cool. Have you ever seen one? You ever seen a motorcycle? Ever seen a Harley Davidson motorcycle?
Yeah,
you ever seen an American-made two-wheel freedom machine? You got to get on one of those, brother. No, I just love motorcycles. My grandpa's been riding. My grandpa rode motorcycles my whole life. I've always thought they were cool. I actually host Harley Davidson's YouTube page. I love motorcycles, and it's one of the only things you can do besides fighting where you can get completely just locked in that zone where you're not thinking, you're just feeling, and you're just completely in tune with what you're doing. And it's so fun, and then it's also terrifying because you almost die, and you're just like, it's the same as fighting, man. There's only a few things that can give you that feeling, like surfing, riding motorcycles, fighting. And when you find those things, dude, that get you excited, you got to hold on to them.
And another one, I mean, I saw you said that you also mentioned that there's like 5-6 things you care about. So other than fighting and Harley Davidson motorcycles, what are some of those things?
I like big booty Latinas. No, I'm just kidding. No, no. Shout out to my girlfriend Melissa. I love you, babe. Yeah, I care about my dog who just passed away, R.I.P. I care about my friends and family, and my friends are my family, and I care about my coaches and my team. So I care about fighting. I care about motorcycles. I care about music. I care about comic books. We're already running out of things, but my whole life is that. Tattoos are cool. Like there's like 5 or 6 things that I really fucking love and will nerd out indefinitely on. And everything else, I could take it or leave it. And that focus I think, is part of what's provided me with a life that I'm really in love with now, because I've literally, we talk about like echo chambers, right? Like in political stuff, which we don't gotta get lost in the weeds in that. But we talk about people being stuck in their echo chambers. My echo chamber is just shit that I like to nerd out about. It's just fighting, comics, music. That's the tattoos and taking mushrooms in my backyard. That's my life, bro. And I'm thankful for it.
Awesome, that's awesome. And last one for me, obviously, a lot of people know that you kind of been through a lot. I mean, so if you had a message for somebody that's also going through tough times, what would your message be?
I don't know. It's such everyone's tough times look so different, you know. I don't know. There's people going through stuff that's way worse than what I've had a tough couple months. There's people who are going through even worse. I would say find your tribe, find people that you can trust and who you can be trustworthy to, and find the people who care about you. Find a thing that you're passionate about and dive into it. I don't have a lot of like good self-help stuff. I can just tell you what worked for me. Like, I was a really angry kid and I got in a lot of trouble and I experienced a lot of tough stuff, and doubling down on what I loved is what saved my life. So it doesn't have to be fighting. For me, it was fighting. But if there's a kid out there who's going through some tough stuff, it doesn't have to be your parents, it doesn't have to be your teachers. Find someone that you trust who gives a shit about you, and find a trade that you love to do and pour your heart into it.
Awesome. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Andre, congrats on the win.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned having fun earlier, and you definitely looked like you were doing that. Even to your walkout song.
Yeah.
That really felt like you.
Yeah, that's Zack Bryan. That's the homie, man. That's the shout out Zack Bryan.
And so why'd you choose that one specifically?
So that's a song by Zack Bryan, who is, inspiring dude. He's gone from being just a guy in the Navy to being the number one. I mean, he had a Spotify. His single was the number one song on Spotify. He's the number one country artist in the world. He's blown up over the past couple of years, and I've been fortunate enough to hang out with him and hang out with this crew of guys. Shout out to Jay, Cisco, and that song he wrote is about a bull rider whose dad died riding a bull, and then he goes to ride the same bull. And if the bull kills him, he knows that his son will go ride that bull's son. It's just about the constant struggle that certain types of guys like me face. You willingly throw yourself into the fire to test yourself. And the song's called "Open the Gate," and I'm getting locked in a fucking cage, so it just seemed perfect, There's just lines in there that resonate, and it's a fucking great song. So everybody should go listen to Zack Bryan if you aren't already.
That's what's up, man. And you made it a point also to shout out Joe Rogan, an icon in the game. Everybody knows who that is. Why was that about, the 10-year history and all that?
Yeah, I just, there's things that I'm not necessarily proud of, Like, I'm proud of being in the game for 10 years. I'm proud of being a UFC vet. I don't think there's a lot of guys who are 10-plus year veterans that are in their early 30s, Like, I'm proud of my longevity. It's not easy to do. But I still have things that I'm a little ashamed about, honestly, that they drive me. I have talked to Joe Rogan. That's the second time in 10 years. I should have talked to him 20 times. And so it was just a statement to myself that, like, when I'm on a big pay-per-view and the lights are on, I can perform. The last time I talked to him, I was 23 years old. It was my first fight in the UFC. Now I'm 33 years old. It's my 22nd fight in the UFC. Like, I'm still here. I'm getting better. And when the lights are on, I perform. And it was a reminder to myself and to everybody else.
Right on, man. Well, congrats on that 10 years, the 22 fights. Thank you for your honesty and transparency.
Thank you.
You mentioned Zack Bryan, but did you see Zack Brown out there cage side for your fight?
I didn't. I'm sure he's cool, but Zack Bryan, forever. No, I'm just kidding. I'm tribal. I'm a tribal dude. No, he's got great songs as well. Yeah, he's a great artist. And I didn't see him, but that's really cool. He was there.
Yeah, he's been there since the beginning of the prelims.
That's so cool, man. It's cool when you see guys that are celebrities that are actually fight fans. You see some guys, especially, that's the thing about fighting in Vegas. If you fight in Jacksonville or you fight in Sacramento, like you fight in a working class town, like people, when they buy these $300 tickets, their asses are in the seats excited for the fights. Like, they're fight fans. Vegas, there's a lot of guys who, like, this is like the third thing on their list tonight, and they'll stop in to watch the main event, which is cool. Like, thank you for supporting. Like, whatever, you bought the ticket, watch whatever fight you want. But there's something cool when you see guys who are famous, but they're actual still fight fans. I think Chris Pratt's the same way. Like guys who really know fighting and enjoy fighting, even though they're at the upper echelon of their trade. So yeah, shout out to him, man. It's fucking cool.
You mentioned the two voices early on,
Yeah.
where there's one that's sort of backing you and there's one that's sort of doubting you.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've always dealt with? And the fact that you fight night can bring that up and talk to your coaches, is that something new that you've dealt with, to how to deal with that and to go into the cage a little bit maybe calmer than before?
Yeah, I think there's a strength in accepting how you're feeling, because then you can fucking let it go. If you just stuff it down, stuff it down, stuff it down. If you pretend that voice isn't there, then you can never turn the volume down on it. When you hear it and you can listen to it and go, actually, none of that shit makes sense, and you can turn the volume down. Like, there's a voice in your head that goes, yeah, maybe you don't hit that hard. It's like, obviously I hit hard. I just fucking put a man unconscious. Turn that down. It's like, maybe you're not that good. You know, and then my little brother, Andrew Coyne, you'll see him in the UFC soon. We call him Bulldog. He's 27. He's been training with Uriah for like 29 years. It's insane. The kid's like been in the gym for fucking his whole life. So yeah, he's 27. He's been training for 29 years. It's insane. He's more knowledgeable. This kid, I'm telling you, the kid who was in my corner, his name's Andrew Coyne. You'll see him in the UFC. He's more knowledgeable than most people's MMA coaches. He's been at Team Alpha since he was 9 years old. That's not a joke. He's literally been training since he was 9. So I'm thinking to myself, fuck, maybe I tricked everybody. Maybe I'm not that good. And he looks at me and he's like, none of this is an accident. You've been in the UFC for 10 years. It's like, if I hadn't have acknowledged it, then he wouldn't have given me that feedback. Because I got the feedback from someone I trust, I can turn it down. So there's power in that. There's power in facing that fear. There's power in acknowledging, like, yo, like, I don't fucking feel great right now. Because once you acknowledge it, then you can fucking stamp it out. You can turn it off. You can turn the volume up on what you do want to hear.
And last thing for me, we often hear from fighters when they throw that perfect strike that they can't even feel it. So the big shot that everybody keeps talking about, the sounds, when you landed that, I want to say it was an overhand right. Did you even feel that?
No, it was a perfect. Yeah, there's like perfect transfer of weight. You know, if you've never fought, it's like when you swing a golf club and you hit the ball, or when you hit a line drive, and it's just a perfect transfer of weight. You doesn't feel like you hit anything. You just see him fall in front of you. And then I just tried to stay real patient, land some hard shots. I felt myself get out of position a little bit. I dropped a big elbow to freeze him up, got my hips in good position, and then just let the hands go.
It was quite a shot. Congrats on the video.
Thank you so much, sir. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Love you guys.